We're getting breaking news. Here's the latest.
Shoulder to shoulder. We know that you have faced a devastating storm. Candidly, you may even label it storms, with multiple tornadoes ripping through Williamson County alone. We know there are many people whose lives have been completely disrupted and people who've lost their homes. At the very same time, and what I'm about to say may be early and premature, but it may be a miracle also, because even though there's been some devastating physical damage, to my knowledge as of right now, there is no report of loss of life, which is just stunning. I want to credit the people of Williamson County for responding rapidly and safely in the way they did. I also want to extend my thanks to television stations. Yes. I was watching television stations as I saw tornadoes striking Williamson County. I have no doubt others saw that too and were able to seek shelter. There's no telling if perhaps lives were saved, because TVs and weather reporters today have the capabilities of forecasting and telling viewers minutes before a tornado may hit that they need to take shelter. People heeding that advice were able to save their lives. Property damage is devastating. It's a loss. But if you're alive, you can rebuild that property. If you don't protect your own life, you lose it all. So we will continue to pray that as we work our way through tomorrow, we will find that there will be no loss of life in Williamson County. Now, we are dealing with this disaster here in Williamson County tonight. Many of our fellow Texans are facing the same challenge as we speak right now. I want everybody across the entire state that's going through this to know the state of Texas is going to be with you every step of the way. Let me give you an example. As we gather here tonight, there are two people from the Texas Division of Emergency Management who are already here working on the ground with the folks in Williamson County. One is Robbie Barrera, the district coordinator, and the other is Darren Brinkater. They're both here ready to go to work around the clock to help the people of Williamson County begin to rebuild their lives. There is a contact information I would like to provide to you for everybody who may have suffered any type of property damage whatsoever. The county and the state need that information for us to be able to help you respond. I'm going to give that to you real quick. If you would go to damage.tdem.texas.gov, I give that to you one more time, damage.tdem.texas.gov. You can report your damage, which of course should wait till tomorrow because you can't make a reasonable assessment of it tonight. Something else I'm going to tell you that the judge will also tell you, and we're both going to tell you because it's so important. When you have a tornado rip through a community, there are going to be downed power lines. Those can be deadly dangerous. But in addition to that, you can't see what's out there. You don't know what's going to be on the ground. Do not endanger yourself by trying to rush in and try to save something right now. Wait till daylight tomorrow. Wait till the storms pass by that you can go through in a more safe fashion to make sure that you're not endangering your own life when trying to recover your property. So once again, I want to thank the judge and his entire team. I know you have a fantastic team that's been working around the clock to help the people of your community. And Judge, I want you to know that we stand ready to work with you every step of the way. Interestingly, some of you may recall that I issued a disaster declaration a couple of days ago for a fire in the state of Texas. Interestingly, Williamson County was added to that disaster declaration. So as we gather tonight, there's already a disaster declaration in place by the state covering Williamson County. Judge?
Thank you. I first want to say to the residents of Williamson County, and by the way, the city of Round Rock has done an amazing job at responding, and our city leadership there and Mayor Craig Morgan are doing a phenomenal job to respond to the needs of the residents of Round Rock. I want to talk some outside of the city of Round Rock to give you a bigger scope of what we've experienced here in Williamson County. But first I want to tell you a story about one of our county employees whose name is Sharon, a wonderful lady who in fact trained me when I first became a county employee. Tonight, her home was destroyed, and she was there with two of her nieces. And from the story that's been conveyed to me, she literally laid her body over her nieces to protect them. And they all went to the hospital to be checked out, and they're all alive and well. But the reality is tonight we're in a room that is dry, that's heated and cooled, and there's some of our residents that don't have a home to return to tonight, or several of our residents that have damaged homes that they're trying to return to. And I just want to say to the residents of Williamson County, let's do what we've done in the past. Let's take a deep breath. Let's work together. Let's be patient one with another, and let's help our fellow brother. I also want to say that tonight you will see very purposefully in Williamson County, from Round Rock all of the way to the eastern part of the county, that we are turning off electricity. And the reason is really quite simple. We have down power lines, and in order to protect the first responders and in order to protect those that are doing the repairs needed, it's important that we turn off power. And for some of our residents that might be discomforted because of electricity being turned off tonight at your home, I would just simply say this. If you have a home that you're in and your electricity is off, be grateful, because not all of our residents have that tonight. It's our understanding from emergency management that we know of at least 2 confirmed tornadoes that have hit in Williamson County, and in the days ahead the National Weather Service will do an assessment and tell us if there are more. One of the tornadoes originated, we believe, at the 35 and 45 intersection and went from the Round Rock location north of Kalahari and moved on to the Granger area. And the tornado, we don't believe was on the ground the entire time, but it did come down at different times. We're just thankful. I think tonight's story, and I pray for our residents that everyone is found safe, but literally the tornado went in front of Kalahari and damaged vehicles out on the parking lot. But to our understanding, the building sustained no loss, which had thousands of guests in it at the time. That is one confirmed tornado that we're aware of. The second confirmed tornado that we're aware of is one that hit northwest of Gerald. And there we know of a few homes and outbuildings that were destroyed and damaged. Our teams are currently out there working. I want to say thank you to our sheriff, whose leadership, because of his experience, had multiple additional staff members on hand early today preparing for what could come tonight. And they did an amazing job. I want to say thank you to Tatum. Governor, Robbie, the regional for emergency management, was literally giving us live reports across Williamson County. And so we're really grateful. To our residents, I just want to say it may be a difficult night for some of you, but be patient as we work through the next day or two to assess the damages. And the website that the governor listed, we may in the days ahead stand up a county facility to help report damages that occurred at your house or your community. But listen, if you have your spouse and you have your kids and your pet, and all of you are dry tonight, be grateful, because not every resident is experiencing that. Even just a few moments ago when the governor and his team were coming here, they again encountered pretty significant hail damage just coming in this last storm. So I just say to our residents, be patient. Let's work one with another. In the days ahead, our county will use the different media platforms that we have to convey to you how we can best help you. And then finally, I want to circle back to where the governor started, and then we'll take a few questions. I firmly believe that lives were saved tonight in Williamson County because of what you did in the media today. I know, in fact, that Shikange said to my family that they needed to shelter in place, and my daughter and my grandkids went to that safe place in their home. I know that many of you as reporters risk your life today, and storm chasers risk your life today. But because of the story you told, you should know that you save lives today in Williamson County, Texas. And I'm deeply grateful for your sacrifice and your hard work. And thank you for making a difference in some families' lives today.
Thank you. A few questions.
Again, both of you described that there are people on the ground already starting work. Can you just describe what kinds of things they're doing tonight?
Sure. Well, first of all, the governor didn't mention his state troopers that are here, and the captain and his team of troopers that have moved in to help our sheriff's deputies as they literally go from home to home, house to house, and street to street. Our sheriff's deputies have combed through most of the eastern part of Williamson County, literally visually inspecting that. We've had Starflight that has been here that has flown a grid pattern to help us get some overviews. I know that we have flown drones today so we can see damage and see where the damage paths are at so our first responders can be there. Our EMS system here in Williamson County brought on additional resources to make sure that we had trucks and units available. And then, of course, our Office of Emergency Management and the Emergency Command Center is up and operational. But listen, the best help that was provided today was by an aunt who laid over her two nieces to protect them. The best help that was provided today is the neighbor that brings in their neighbor when their home is damaged. I think it's because of the residents of Williamson County, because of the media's communication today, and because of our first responders. I think it's perhaps a miracle in Williamson County.
Next question.
Where do you all go tomorrow? I know you said right now you're doing some house-to-house type of, not searches, but going by and seeing if anyone needs any aid. So tomorrow with daylight coming, what do you do then? Where do you go next?
Well, so obviously the city of Round Rock and their emergency management staff is going to be on the ground, and we're there to support the city of Round Rock and the needs that they have. But we're literally going to be doing that in the unincorporated parts of Williamson County, and our emergency management team. Listen, Red Cross personnel will be here to help us as the needs arise. Where we go tomorrow is we partner with our local churches. One of our large churches here in the area, Celebration Church, has already contacted me, and they have a team of 200 volunteers ready to go at 9, another team of 200 volunteers ready to go at 11, and another team of 200 volunteers ready to go at 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So it's assessing. We need to get the daylight. Let's try to not go out tonight if you live in the eastern part of the county to be safe, right? If you see a power line, just assume that it's going to be dangerous. And let's stay inside as we can. And then tomorrow, let's see what we discover in the daylight. And let's work together to clean up and put our county back the way that it was.
Governor, I don't know if you're aware, they're also having trouble in Elgin. And they have reports of a tornado there and maybe some people even trapped below mobile homes that have kind of caved in. What can you update us on that?
So we are aware of what happened in Elgin, as well as other areas in Bastrop County. And listen, there are areas across the entire state that have been impacted by tornadoes and storms. We have the Texas Division of Emergency Management working in collaboration with the Texas Department of Public Safety, as well as other first responders, working first and foremost to try to save lives. Identify if there's anybody trapped, anybody who needs to be evacuated, making sure that they are scouring any area that was damaged whatsoever to determine if there is a life there that needs to be saved. That's the first and foremost task, and that is something that will be happening around the clock.
Any other questions?
I do have one. I know you mentioned that we are still kind of waiting till daylight to survey damage as a whole, but we've done drone flyovers, things like that. Any initial quantity you can give us, like several homes or buildings destroyed, dozens, anything like
Well, what I would say is this, is I think the damage is severe enough that I'm going to sign an emergency declaration tonight for Williamson County, which the governor's already signed a proclamation for us. I think there are a number of homes and a number of structures that have been damaged, and there are some that have been destroyed. And it's very difficult for us to quantitate that until we can see it in the daylight, to be honest.
Great, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.